Hello there, I'm Big Alias. I have heard the tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise. I've done it. Actually, I realised I shouldn't really reference Star Wars at the beginning of my videos because I open with hello there, and I promise you, despite the fact that this channel was made in 2011, it is not an Obi-Wan reference that I say hello there. I just wanted the catchphrase, and that just came to me. Just like your mum, it just came to me. We're going to talk about Rooster Teeth. I know I made a video recently on this channel that actually got quite a bit of traction. I have 2 videos on this channel with the word Rooster Teeth on the title. One is my most popular video, and the other one is probably in my top 15 out of 400 videos. I don't know why people tend to sort of glue themselves to those, but I can't see that happening here. I want to talk about where I finished that video, and listened back to it and thought about it and thought about the process. It was a big deal. It was a big deal that such a large part of my life was wrapping up, despite the fact that I think it makes it an easier pill to swallow that I hadn't actually followed them for a few years. But even then, it's just like, it's so surreal and something that I don't think I've actually come to terms with yet. I don't think I've rationalized it. However, I think the question looms over the notion of, something like this happening. The question looms that what's next? Where do we go next? And that was always an interesting one to me, because obviously this is something that's already happened. It's a story that's already written itself. We're not saying what do I do next. We're saying what did I do next? After I sort of fell out of love with the channel and it was moving in a direction that I didn't like, despite the fact that a lot of people ignored what I said during the video, I'm going to say it again. For me, it was just because it was so overwhelming with all of the different channels that were opening up, and I didn't recognize anyone or anything like that. So where did I go after that? And there are a few avenues. Interestingly, I think it runs very contrary to this channel and the things that I say and the views that I hold. But I started watching a fair amount of the Angry Joe show after I sort of discovered that, maybe Rooster Teeth wasn't what I wanted it to be. And the reason that I did that, and the reason I kind of honestly, I still go back to them sometimes, and I still fairly regularly watch the stuff. Sometimes I'll turn on Angry Joe News, or I pretty much watch most of the reviews that he puts out because I just have a lot of fun watching them, even if it's for a game that I have no interest in whatsoever. And the reason I do that is because, for lack of a better term, lack of a more expansive expression on this, the Angry Joe show is kind of what Rooster Teeth was initially to me, and that's just some guys hanging out. But they've, interestingly enough, I think I bumped the mic. I'm looking at my waveform and it's all over the place now. But interestingly enough, the thing about the Angry Joe show is it answers the question of what if Rooster Teeth hadn't changed? What if that feeling that I had towards them was still there, and what if they were still those people, just a few dudes hanging out who are very into video games and having a lot of fun with it. Now I will say Angry Joe show is a far different sort of approach, and I think that the gang definitely care more about gaming than they did at Rooster Teeth. Rooster Teeth, it was more about creating entertainment through video games, whereas with the Angry Joe show they very much care about the games themselves. But what I love about it is it's just so loose and free, in that I don't want to sound pejorative, and I hope this is okay to say, and I really hope this doesn't come across as mean, because I get the feeling that they're very intentional with this, but there's an acceptance of a tackiness here that I just absolutely adore. Every time it's a game with any vague pirate themes, Joe and other Joe just strap on the same clothes. They'll be doing a video about a looter shooter, and they'll be oh, I grabbed some loot, and it's like a Nerf gun, but it's the same Nerf gun that I saw in 3 other videos. The green screens are obviously tremendously tacky, and they'll just be a screenshot from a game, and they're doing multiple characters set to one green screen with 4 different wigs on each character, and other Joe is dressed as some sort of funny flirty character in the game, something like that. And is it funny? To some. Is it fun? It's unbelievably fun. But the thing is, obviously, with the team, with the crew, you do get the more serious side. This typically comes out in the news, and actually, oddly enough, the movie reviews as well. They seem to take that a lot more seriously. But then, even then, they have like this green screen, and they have a chat, and it's very like overtly gamer aesthetic. And again, I kind of soak that up and absolutely love it, and I really enjoy it. So I do kind of get that vibe from them. I get to enjoy that sort of just a bunch of guys hanging out, having fun with video games kind of vibe and aesthetic. And I understand Agro Joe Show used to be a little bit bigger than it currently is now, or they currently are now, but I would recommend going back and just like enjoying some fun, tacky reviews. He really does have fun with it, and I think you would too. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I moved on to other things. I mean, as a lot of people did, the current moved, and this is one of the things that I said about the channel. One of the big reasons I think, you know, didn't work out is because the current moved and kind of they didn't. How do you have, you know, like 80 people doing commentary videos a la Drew Gooden and Danny Gonzalez and Curtis Connor? You know, how do you have like 75 Jarvis Johnsons? You just can't do that. You know, you're just going to end up flooding it. So you have to stick with the format that you have. But things shifted, and people care about the opinions of others more than being entertained. And I kind of moved with that a little bit too. I love that whole troupe, you know, Curtis Connor, Danny Gonzalez, Drew Gooden, Jarvis Johnson, Jordan Adika. I love a lot of them, and I keep up to date with all of them. I've watched every single video from all of those producers, and I always will. Every time they produce a new video, I will. I think we've moved away to podcasts. I can't really do podcasts quite as much, but I think it's very indicative of the time that we need something that we can run in the background as we do other things, but that's a video for another day. But I do occasionally listen to Sad Boys podcast or Curtis Connor podcast or something like that. I watch the pitch meetings. You know, that's my sketch, Phil. Unfortunately, there isn't like a great sketch comedy channel that I do watch. If you have a recommendation for one, please do throw it out there. Every now and then I'll watch like Caleb City and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I'm definitely not as fanatic with YouTube as I used to be when I was watching Rooster Teeth. So when I do come back, it's typically just the same stuff. I watch a lot of Skill Up for serious game reviews. I think Skill Up has the most sort of eloquent way of speaking about games. Every now and then I watch like G-Man Lives, and so on and so forth. But yeah, the Aftermath is a lot more splintered and a lot less passionate, essentially. But I take every opportunity I can to watch someone just having fun with video games, because that's what Rooster Teeth did. And that's the Aftermath. I never know how to pronounce it. Damn it.
The PlayStation's only $149, and you can also get leading titles.